Hi there, it's Laura here from Get Organized HQ. And today I'm going to share a time management hack that is basically taking the container concept that we use for our stuff and applying it to time management. Another term that I like to use for this is the waffle principle of time management. I have another video about that I will link below for you if you want to dive a little bit deeper into that. And I also want to say, when it comes to time management, the place that I always start is with my 3-bucket system. If you haven't watched that video yet, or if you don't know anything about that, I would recommend that you go ahead and click and watch that video, get familiar with that concept, and then you're ready to layer on these other strategies like this container concept that I'm going to teach you. If you're not familiar with the container concept for your stuff, the idea is, we all know that we often have like containers or bags or drawers or like ways to contain our stuff. And if you're not careful, what you might do is, let's say you have a bunch of crayons in containers and then you get another box. That doesn't mean you need to go get another container to add another container of crayons. What that means is that you need to fit those into what you already have. So if adding more is going to make it overflow, you have two choices. You can either choose not to add, like you like what you already have, you keep it there, or you can choose to take some out and replace it with the new ones. So with objects in the container concept, when the container gets full, you either have to stop adding, or if I wanted to add these new ones, I could remove some that are already in there and just completely get rid of them. And then I would have room to add the new ones. But I had to get rid of all of these so I'd have space for the new ones. However, when it comes to time, it doesn't work that way because you cannot take anything out once you've put it in. But that's the whole concept of a container, is like it literally contains your stuff. This is how much I'm able to have. So, maybe I have 30 hangers in, my closet. That's how much space I have. So that means that's how much stuff I can have hanging. When I get a new item and 30 are already full, I either have to decide there's something I like less that I would like to take out, or I actually don't want this new one. I like everything I have better. That's how the container concept works for our stuff. And we can use a similar concept for our time management with one key difference. So when it comes to time, I really like to think of this container as literally a waffle. I know that sounds strange, but how waffles have those little squares. And so my day is like that waffle. And you can even think of it as a week, month, year basis, and it has so many squares of time that I can fill. And there's nothing else. You can't get another waffle. We all get one waffle a day, and that's how I'm filling my time. And each of those little waffle squares is like a container. And once I fill it up, I don't get more. And if I keep pouring syrup into it, if I keep adding stuff into it, it's going to spill over into the other containers and automatically give them less space than they had before. And what's really different than the container concept for our stuff is with our stuff, if I get more stuff and it's not going to fit in the container, I can take out something I've already put in there and donate it, pass it along, get rid of it, something like that. With my time, I can't do that. You cannot get time back. You can't take away what you've already spent your time on. So what's different about that is with time, if we were thinking of time as a container and we were adding in these crayons, once we got to the top, we wouldn't have the option of adding any more. So if we wanted to add more, it would steal from another container. So that's a really key concept to understand, and why it's so critical to make wise decisions with our time in the moment, and even to take some time to think through and pre-plan our time. So to talk about some practical examples with this, a lot of people actually call this time blocking, where you might take your day and say, from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. is my personal time for self-care, maybe for reading your Bible, drinking a cup of coffee, something like that. And then 7 to 8 is my getting ready time. And then 8 to 9 is my family time. Then, 9 to 5 is my work time, so on and so forth. So you kind of sectioned your day into containers. On the surface, that's pretty straightforward. And I actually would venture to say that to sit down with a piece of paper, or if you want to use a digital app or something like that, and set up your time like that is relatively easy to do. You could probably map out your ideal day, your ideal time buckets, but it doesn't stop there. That part is easy. Actually fitting your activities into those time slots and into those containers is where it gets really tricky. And I have found that the further into my day I get, the harder it is. So I tend to stick with those morning ones fairly well, but as we get further and further into the day, what I do is, without making a conscious decision, I let my activities spill over. So I fill up that little square too much, and as I fill it up with syrup, it has nowhere else to go but to overflow into the next little section. So what happens is I have just stolen from another bucket of time, from another slot. And I think when we're in the moment and you're doing something, whether it's something you enjoy, like relaxing, watching Netflix, whether it's work, you're really into a work project, you're making progress, it's going great, you want to keep going, or you just want to cram something else in, you're like, oh yeah, I can do this too. Or whether it is your house projects and you're like, oh, I want to keep going, I want to get this done. Whatever it is, when we're in that moment, we want to keep going with that. We want to add more. We don't want to say no. And so instead of consciously being like, okay, we're at the end, this slot, this little square is now full. And if I do anything else in this area, I'm going to be stealing from another one of my little squares. Instead, we don't even think about that. We're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to get it done. Then as we get later into the day, we realize, okay, we can't really add hours to the day. We can't add more squares to our waffle. So it's going to come from somewhere. And if we're not intentional, it's just going to come out of whatever's left at the end of the day. So if I left my family time to the end of the day, I would have less family time. If I left my, self-care, health, workouts, or a lot of times for me, it's like cooking healthy dinners, like that comes to the end of the day, I'm like, oh, forget it. We're not doing that tonight. I'm out of time. So now I have to rely on something less healthy. We're stealing that time away without really realizing it. So what we want to do is, if we're going to do that, we want to be intentional about it and realize that's what we're doing. So I'm up at the end of the square. It is getting full. If I do one more thing, what am I taking it away from? And there might be times when you genuinely want to take it away from something. Maybe you had a hobby plan and you're like, that's not that important. Like, I can totally steal some or all of that time. But maybe you're like, okay, I'm here, I'm working. If I go any further, I'm either going to have to take family time, self-care and health time, or sleep time. Those are all non-negotiables, so I have to stop now. But it is way, way harder than it sounds, and I know this from personal experience, and you all do as well, because we want to pretend like we can do everything. And obviously no one can, and we wouldn't even come out and say, well, yep, I can fit anything into my schedule, but we have so many things we want to do that we don't want to say no to them. But if we don't, we're really stealing from something else, so we need to sit down and be intentional about that. So I hope this has helped you think about how you can prioritize your time. And like I mentioned already, if you have not watched a 3-bucket system for taking control of your days, I highly recommend that you start there. This will take you from feeling like you're totally out of control to now having some control of your time. So I highly recommend you go ahead and watch that video next.